Business Insights. Today, we will look at an issue which is flying under the radar for too long: the deforestation linked to cultivation of rubber for the tire and rubber industry, as well as for the other large commercial crops. With rubber plantations rapidly expanding in tropical regions, this environmental issue has come under the spotlight, especially with new laws being introduced in the EU and India. From the forests of Southeast Asia to the regulatory changes happening in Europe and India, we will break down how rubber cultivation is affecting the planet and what's being done about it. There could be increasingly more stringent laws which may prevent access to EU markets for products which use agricultural products produced on deforested land. So, let's get started. The growing rubber problem. When we talk about deforestation, most people think about palm oil or salt. But rubber? Not so much. The truth is, rubber, primarily sourced from the Hevea brasiliensis tree, is a major contributor to deforestation. And where is this happening? Southeast Asia. Countries like Indonesia, Thailand and Malaysia have been hit the hardest, with over 2 million hectares of forest being lost to rubber plantations since 2000. What's causing this? The growing demand for natural rubber, especially in the global tire industry. Cars, motorcycles, even electric vehicles, all of them need tires, and with 70% of the world's natural rubber used just for tire manufacturing, the demand for this raw material is not likely to decline anytime soon. In fact, projections suggest that 2.7 to 5.3 million hectares of additional land will be needed by 2030 just to meet this demand. And here's where it gets even scarier. Recent studies show that the impact of rubber on deforestation may be 2 or 3 times higher than previously estimated. With this much forest disappearing, the environmental stakes are sky high. The environmental impact of rubber plantations. Natural rubber is usually seen as renewable because it comes from the latex of the rubber tree, which grows in tropical areas. However, growing these trees often means cutting down forests, which results in significant biodiversity loss and increases carbon emissions. What does this mean for the environment? Well, deforestation linked to rubber plantations isn't just about cutting down trees. When these forests disappear, we lose biodiversity hotspots, areas that are critical for the survival of endangered species. These plantations are often replacing high-value forests that were home to rich ecosystems. But here is the thing, natural rubber is still in demand. Even though most of the world's rubber is synthetic, around 30% of global production still comes from natural sources, and the environmental consequences are hard to ignore. This is where policy and legislation come in, and where we will be focusing our attention next. EU laws targeting deforestation. Free rubber. The European Union is tackling this issue head-on. If you didn't know, the EU has some of the strictest environmental laws on the planet, and their focus has expanded to include deforestation linked to natural rubber. The biggest development? The EU Deforestation Regulation EUDR, which was adopted in May 2023. This law is very important because it forces companies to ensure that the products they sell in the EU, including natural rubber, don't come from deforested land. One key part of this law is the post-2020 land use requirement. This means the rubber cannot come from the land that was deforested after December 31st, 2020. Companies have to prove that their rubber meets this requirement. They need to provide geolocation data, use satellite imagery, and demonstrate that their products are not contributing to deforestation. But it's not just about raw rubber. The law also covers products made from rubber, like tires. This means the entire supply chain has to be transparent, from the plantation to the point of sale. Companies that don't comply? Well, they risk heavy fines, product recalls, and potentially having their products banned from the EU market altogether. The circular economy and the European Green Deal. But that's not all. The European Green Deal, approved in 2020, aims to make Europe climate neutral by 2050. Part of this mission includes curbing imports of products linked to deforestation, and rubber is no exception. Alongside the Green Deal, the Circular Economy Action Plan 2020 encourages businesses to use longer-lasting, recyclable and more sustainable materials. This means that companies selling rubber products in Europe need to prove that their materials are coming from non-deforested land. With all these regulations, Europe is setting the standard for sustainable product policies. But will the rubber industry be able to keep up? Is the real question here. Other international deforestation laws. Europe is not the only region stepping up. The US Lacey Act and the UK Environment Act 2021 are also putting pressure on rubber producers. Both laws prohibit the trade of plant products, including rubber, that have been illegally sourced or linked to deforestation. These laws also aim to improve air and water quality, tackle waste, increase recycling, halt the decline of species, and improve our natural environment. For rubber producers exporting to the US or the UK, this means stricter risk assessments and due diligence. Companies need to ensure their rubber comes from legal sources and isn't tied to forest destruction. If they can't provide that proof, they risk being shut out of these lucrative markets. Southeast Asia and rubber producers in India. Let's take a quick detour to Southeast Asia and India, where the rubber industry is feeling the heat from these new laws. Countries like Thailand, Indonesia and Malaysia are the world's top producers of natural rubber. But with the new EU laws, these nations have to step up their game. Rubber producers, both big companies and small-scale farmers, are scrambling to ensure that their plantations comply with deforestation regulations. The problem is that many smallholders lack the resources to get sustainability certifications, which are now essential to stay competitive in markets like Europe and the US. And then there is India, a smaller but significant player in the rubber game. India rubber producers are also affected by these global changes. Even though India's production isn't as large as Southeast Asia's, it is emerging as a large exporter of tires to the EU. Indian tire companies are impacted whether they use natural rubber sourced from India or imported. Indian producers now face the same challenge: adopt sustainable practices or risk losing access to the European market. Recently, a study using remote sensing technology uncovered that deforestation from rubber cultivation in Southeast Asia has been significantly underestimated. Researchers mapped 14.2 million hectares of rubber plantations and found that 4 million hectares of forest have been cleared since 1993. Shockingly, half of these deforestations occurred after 2000. Challenging earlier estimates, which only attributed 1 million hectares of forest loss to rubber cultivation. What makes this finding even more alarming is that rubber plantations often replace biodiversity-rich forests, displacing countless species and contributing to habitat loss. Rubber, unlike crops like palm oil or soy, hasn't received as much attention when it comes to deforestation monitoring because rubber plantations look like natural forests from above. The research team overcame this issue by using satellites to track the leaf drop and regrowth patterns of rubber trees, a method that helped them distinguish rubber plantations from natural forests. Despite challenges like cloud cover and the need for on-the-ground verification, this approach provided valuable insights. The study talks about the need for a sustainable certification process for rubber. Managed responsibly, rubber could provide a sustainable income for small-scale farmers without exacerbating environmental damage. The researchers suggest that involving local communities and even citizen scientists could be key to improving monitoring efforts going forward. In India, we are seeing proactive steps to ensure the country's rubber industry isn't left behind in this global shift towards sustainability. In July 2024, The Hindu published a report on the Rubber Board of India's new sustainability initiative, emphasizing its focus on helping local producers meet the stringent EU deforestation laws. This initiative is designed to make sure Indian rubber is compliant and remains competitive in the global market. Recent developments in India's rubber industry. In India, there's been a lot happening in recent months, especially with how the country's government and environmental agencies are responding to these international pressures. First off, The Rubber Board of India has been actively pushing for sustainability certifications for Indian producers. In a recent news, TRST01, a sustainable tech company, has teamed up with Rubber Board of India to create a new compliance solution for the EU Deforestation Regulation, EUDR. This unique partnership is the first of its kind, blending private and public efforts to set a new standard in sustainability. The collaboration will focus on mapping rubber growing areas to ensure deforestation-free practices and developing a centralized database for better traceability and compliance. This initiative aims to strengthen India's role in sustainable rubber production and boost the global competitiveness of Indian rubber growers. This initiative, launched in August 2024, is all about making sure Indian rubber can still compete globally, particularly with the EU's new laws. The Rubber Board is working to help small and medium-sized producers comply with international standards, making it easier for them to prove that their rubber is deforestation-free. But not everything is going smoothly. There have been controversies, especially in Assam and Tripura, two states that produce a lot of rubber. In 2023 and 2024, local activists raised concerns about illegal deforestation linked to rubber plantation expansions. Some plantations were accused of clearing forest after 2020 cut-off date set by the EU. In response, local governments have launched investigations to make sure these plantations are not violating international laws. India's forest rights and rubber plantation expansion. Another issue India faces is the conflict between indigenous rights and rubber plantation expansion. India's Forest Rights Act 2006 gives indigenous communities the right to manage forest land, but in some cases, rubber plantations are encroaching on these lands, leading to conflicts between environmental conservation and the rights of local people. To address this, in June 2024, the Indian Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change MOEFCC announced new regulations. These regulations focus on satellite monitoring of rubber plantations to ensure they are not contributing to illegal deforestation. Stricter penalties were also introduced for violations. The legal landscape and environmental sustainability in India's rubber industry. Let's explore now how India's rubber industry is regulated by several key legislations aimed at managing production, distribution, and ensuring environmental sustainability. The Rubber Act 1947 is the primary law that oversees the rubber industry, establishing the Rubber Board and laying down rules for export and import. The Essential Commodities Act 1955 empowers the government to control the production and supply of rubber in the interest of public welfare. The Foreign Trade, Development and Regulation Act 1992 promotes rubber exports and ensures global competitiveness. Environmental laws like the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974 and the Air Prevention of Control of Pollution Act 1981 regulate the discharge of pollutants from rubber production. The Forest Conservation Act 1980 requires prior approval for diverting forest land for rubber cultivation. The Wildlife Protection Act 1972 safeguards wildlife and their habitats from the impact of rubber industry activities. Global efforts in traceability and sustainability. One of the biggest challenges in the rubber industry is traceability. Figuring out where the rubber in your products actually comes from. The rubber supply chain is notoriously complex, involving everything from smallholder farms to massive industrial estates. This makes it difficult to ensure that rubber isn't coming from deforested land. That's where organizations like the Global Platform for Sustainable Natural Rubber, GPSNR, come in. They are working to improve traceability and promote sustainable practices in the rubber industry, but it's still a work in progress. Many companies are struggling to monitor their supply chains effectively and make sure their rubber is sourced sustainably. Conclusion: the future of the rubber industry. So, where does this leave us? The rubber industry is facing some serious challenges, especially with the EU's new deforestation laws. Producers in Southeast Asia, India and beyond are being forced to change how they operate. While these regulations are necessary to protect our planet, they also raise concerns about smallholder farmers and their ability to compete in the global market. At the same time, there's hope. Initiatives like the Rubber Board of India's sustainability drive and the efforts of GPSNR show that change is possible. By adopting sustainable practices, the rubber industry can reduce its environmental impact while still meeting the world's growing demand for natural rubber. And that's a wrap for today's video. We hope this deep dive into deforestation and rubber industry gave you a better understanding of the challenges and solutions on the horizon. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe for more in-depth analysis on global issues. See you in the next video. Thank you.